Welcome back to another live and amplified Indie Fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we are back at it again with another amazing podcast with another amazing guest coming from a couple of states over. We have Jodie Ross joining us from Mississippi. How's it going today?
It's going great. How about you?
Oh, it's going pretty good. Going pretty good. It's a wonderful Monday. I made it through work, so we're gonna count that as a win.
There we go.
So excited to have you on. Excited to chat with you. I found you randomly on Instagram, which is kind of how that
Yes.
that tends to play out, which is quite funny. And then I started listening to some of your music and really enjoy what you're doing. And yeah, so I just figured I'd invite you on and have a little chat with you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So for people that are just getting to meet you for the first time, you're from Mississippi. What was it like growing up in Mississippi?
I grew up in a very small town. Everybody knows everybody kind of thing. Really close family. Um, there wasn't, I would say, as much opportunity as other places that may have been if I'd grown up in a bigger town or a bigger city, or even, just lived like in the capital city here in Mississippi. So opportunities for music and those kind of things were there, but not as abundant as in other places. So yeah, I feel like I've kind of gotten a late start to the game.
Yeah. It's, I think the opportunities are there for a lot of for the people that want them to be there. Like if you're willing to go find any avenue for it to work, like whether with music specifically, since that's the topic we're on, whether it's through the church, whether it's through school and doing like not to use the phrase high school musical, but like doing like the
Right.
plays and stuff in high school. And then like I think there's always kind of that avenue
Oh,
to
for
hit
sure.
for the dedicated ones. So
Right.
oh, good. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like, yeah, it was kind of the thing, that's kind of where I kind of got my start with music, of course, was in church, and singing. Gosh, I've been singing since I was like probably 3 or 4, old enough to be able to hold a mic.
Nice.
But anyway, and then just kind of went from there, and then music just played an important part of my life, growing up, and really the only other opportunity was taking piano lessons or guitar lessons on the side, band in school, and that kind of thing. And then later on went to major in music therapy in college. So yeah, music's played a big part. Like you said, I've kind of found my avenue, even if the
Mm.
opportunities weren't there. I made them be there.
Nice, nice, nice. Oh, so when you were learning to sing, when I was listening to, or as I listened to your music, I pick up this classically trained rawness. Like it seems like you just were you basically what I'm asking, were you like classically trained to sing, like through church or
I
whatever?
was right. No, I never took a voice lesson until I got to college, and I had to take a
Mm.
voice lesson as part of my degree or whatever. But no, never took a formal voice lesson until then. So
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Because the one thing I picked up on was like this classically trained rawness. Like you were hitting such the notes like so right, but they were so raw. Like I don't know how to explain it.
yeah,
Like I'm sitting here trying to figure out how the heck to explain this, and because in my head it's like it makes sense, but as I speak it out into words, it's like, oh, this makes no sense. What are you talking about?
it's got a
So
little edge to it. It does, and
yeah,
like I like to tell people when they're like, "Well, what's your style?" Like kind of like and it's really hard to define that. But I'm like, if you, I have on my hat, and I love Dolly, like absolutely love Dolly. But if you were to take Dolly and you were to take Stevie Nicks and kind of mesh the two, I feel like you kind of get that. I love country music, but I also love like that classic rock
mm,
era also, like, and just to kind of like mesh them together, I feel like you kind of get who I am.
nice, nice, nice. And so as you were kind of finding your lane as a musician when you were younger, going through church and school and just kind of carving your lane. At what point did you kind of start writing your own music? Was that something that you had always kind of done, or was that not until after you got out of college? Or yeah,
Well, so I started playing guitar when I was 16. That's what I
okay,
wanted for my 16th birthday was a guitar. I was loved, I still love this artist, Michelle Branch. She was like the person who inspired me to even pick up a guitar because at the time, like, I mean, there were girls that played guitar, obviously, but at that particular time of my life, like she was the one person that I noticed and like really took an interest in. And I was like, she's not a guy with a guitar; she's a girl with a guitar, and she wrote her own songs. Like, and I was like, if she can do it, I can do it, you know. And so from that point, I started playing guitar, and I was like, I'm gonna write, my own stuff, and I would kind of like play around with it. And they're somewhere written down in a notebook, I'm sure at my parents' house somewhere, and it probably needs to stay hidden. But in college, with my music therapy degree, we really kind of had to focus on like improvising and like writing songs and things like that. And so I kind of got back into the songwriting and kind of like taking it serious. And a friend of my dad's, and his brothers had a band, and they had kind of like their own recording studio at their house. And so my dad told him, he's like, "Hey, she's wrote like these two or three songs, and so his friend was like, why don't you come over and we'll put them down, and maybe you could like you can send them off, to Nashville or whatever." So I was able to get them recorded, and I had the raw recordings on a CD somewhere, and then their recording equipment crashed. And so to this day I don't have those anymore, but I still have those songs, so I guess I could re-record them. But that kind of like spurred the start for that. And then um life happened, job and that kind of thing, and that was really wasn't my focus anymore. And then I hit 30, and when I turned 30 I was kind of like, you know what? Like, I wanted to do this. I wanted to play live music. I wanted to write songs. Um, I just kind of had that moment of like, I'm not getting any younger. So, like, if I'm going to do this, like, let's just do it. And so, even if it doesn't like turn into anything, let's just do it. So, this coffee shop where I was living at the time did these open mic nights. And so I went and I played a couple of covers, and then I got comfortable and I would share a couple of original songs. And one of the songs that I wrote, I guess, kind of got the attention of someone. And later on that year, I got word that I was nominated for the Mississippi Music Awards for Best Original Song. And to this day, I still have no idea who even nominated me for that. No clue. No clue. But I ended up winning that year, and I was very pleasantly surprised. And so I think that kind of was like the peak that kind of got everything rolling for me. So
nice. And this was all, or no, I guess this would have been happening right before the pandemic, or was this happening right as the pandemic kind of kicked off?
it kind of happened right before, because it was 2019, the beginning of
Okay.
2019 when I won the award, and then
Okay.
the pandemic happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I saw that you had
So
released, I knew you had released Bless Your Heart in 2020. So I was trying to
right.
figure out like the timeline right there. So yeah.
Yeah.
But
So that was my very first single, Bless Your Heart. And like you said, it was released in 2020 because that was what else could you do in 2020 but stay at home. So
mhm. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm so glad that you took, I don't want to say the leap of faith, but you just kind of had the realization that okay, this is what I want to be doing, and let's see if we can like singing and writing and recording music and being a musician, and you just kind of put everything aside and said, okay, let's focus on this. Let's figure out how to make it work without selling off the farm or, like whatever it
Right.
is. And I'm, having listened to your music, I'm really glad that you're doing it, that you're out here, you're releasing music. And I'm sure it's probably not to the extent that you want to be doing it, but
Right.
you're doing it. Like that's the key. So
Right. Yeah. It's definitely been, like I said, like a journey. a slow one, but I think that's okay. I'd rather go slow and do it right than just boom, try to get it done and then it just turned into nothing. But um, anyway, like even just like being on this podcast, like things
Mhm.
have just kind of opportunities have presented themselves without me like looking for them. I was just kind of thinking about that earlier. I had a radio station reach out to me on Instagram from Illinois about sending them my MP3 of my song for them to feature on their fresh new music Thursday show that they do for my new single. And I was like, I mean, how cool is that? I mean, like the
Nice.
power of social media, but like it's just things like that that I really wasn't looking for, that it just kind of like, here you go, here's this opportunity. So
Yeah. Was it by chance in Carbondale, Illinois?
it was in Champaign, Urbana.
Oh, Champaign-Urbana. Okay. I was
Yep.
gonna say because that radio station sounded very familiar, and Champaign-Urbana. That's why, because I lived up in Chicago and I went to school in Southern Illinois,
Okay.
so I drove right through Champaign-Urbana all the time. So
Well, I was listening to your accent and I was like, he said he's from Texas, but he's not from Texas.
nope, 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 not at all.
uh,
Um, I've lived here 4.5 years, and the only time that like so I am from Chicago, 100% born and raised, lived there 22 years, and I've I thought I lost my accent. Like I can't, like I used to be able to tell I had the
mhm.
accent, and then uh I haven't lived in Chicago since 2009. So I've been gone a while. And then as I start going into these other places, like I lived in New Mexico, I live here in Texas, and as I like start in getting influenced by the local like way, like the local language and slang and stuff like that,
Right.
I've got like my own like way I speak, which is really funny and interesting. But then I hear that Chicago accent come out when I try and speak some of the like his more Hispanic stuff, since it's very
Yeah.
Hispanically influenced. So like
Right.
when they're like, "Oh, go to this street," and it's like in Spanish or something, then you can really hear the Chicago accent pop out, and it's like, dang it, I thought I got rid of it, but it is what it is.
Well, yeah. But I tell people a lot of times, like probably when I go back and listen to this, I'm like, oh my gosh, hearing myself talk, I'm like, I sound, if cornbread had a sound, like that would be me. Sound like cornbread. Anyway.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So 2020 was kind of the kickoff for you releasing music.
Yeah. Was done, like I said, not in a formal studio. Honestly, I take that back. Like none of my music that I have put out thus far has really been done in a quote formal recording studio like style fashion. It's all been like home based studios, somebody that had, like a sound engineer degree, but they did it on the side kind of deal.
Mhm.
Um, so that very first single, like I said, was done at a friend's house. His drummer had um recording equipment. They kind of were recording their own stuff, and
Nice.
they all just kind of played on the track. And so we just did it ourselves. They charged me $100, like it was just one of those like cheaply, not, it didn't sound cheap, but it was a cheaply done project. So yeah, so just to get something out there, I felt like at that point in my career, if you want to call it that, um I had won that award. I was like, okay, I've got to get music out here, and it's 2020. Like nobody's going anywhere. Like, what's the perfect time to try to put something out there for people to listen to? So, anyway, that's kind of the
Yeah,
backstory on that.
gotcha. And since we're on the topic of Bless Your Heart and just that first official release, why did you choose that song as to kind of be that first representation of yourself on Spotify?
Well, I felt like honestly, I'm a sucker for nostalgia. Like a lot of the stuff that I write is very sappy and slow and sad. And like that was upbeat. I felt like it was really catchy. I felt like it really kind of showed my personality because I'm not a sad person. I'm a pretty upbeat, bubbly person. but I have a little sassy side to me too, and I felt like that song kind of reflected that. It reflected my Southern background, and I was just really proud of the way I was able to take these little phrases that we say down here and mesh them up in a song that had kind of a storyline to it. So
Awesome. Awesome. And then so you got a new song dropping here in 3 days,
Thursday,
Thursday.
yes.
I had to look to see what day it was. I was like, I don't even know right now. Oh, you got a song dropping here in 3 days. What's the name of the song? What's the story behind it? What can you tell us about it?
All right. Well, the name of the song is "We Brought It All Home." It is a baseball love song, for lack of
Nice.
short story. Wasn't really written about anybody in particular, anything like that. I love baseball. I always have loved baseball. I may have dated a couple of baseball players back in my high school days. So I just, I don't know. I just kind of was happened back this summer. I was watching the College World Series,
Hmm.
and I was like, hmm. I was like, it was summertime, that summertime love, like whatever going on, and then baseball. I was like, hey, this is a good idea. Let's roll with it. And it's just that song really just kind of like flowed. It wasn't one of those that I had to like spend a lot of time on. So it just kind of like came very easily, and I've been really proud of it. So
Nice. So I have to ask now, who's your team?
the Braves, absolutely, 100% the Braves.
Okay. I can live with the Braves. I can live with the Braves. I don't hate the Braves. Okay, I can live with that. I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you to say
I've
like Houston or something, and then I was going to have to just end the
no, no, no,
podcast.
no. A funny story. This song is not released, but I have a song called Boy Bye, and it references an ex in Texas. And yeah, no Texas
Yeah,
references.
fair. Yeah, it's so me being from Chicago, I'm a White Sox fan, so
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I
Well, I've
can
been a Braves fan. I've been a
go
Braves fan since like Chipper Jones. Like, so
nice.
not like a new school Braves fan, like like
Yeah.
diehard Braves fan since Chipper. Yeah.
Yep. It's I can respect that. Like the Braves, even back in the day in the 90s when the White Sox weren't really doing anything. Like they were just kind of there. It was always really interesting to always hear about the Braves, and it's like, man, I wish we were Atlanta and winning all the time, or feels like we're winning all the time. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
we don't really have um in Mississippi, which is really sad. I'm just sitting here thinking about it. We have a minor league baseball team, the Mississippi Braves, but they're relocating after this season. I
Oh
can't
well.
remember where they're relocating, but so like we have no NFL team. We don't have an NBA team. We don't have any minor league baseball like after this season. So
Hmm.
I'm kind of like, dude, come on, give us something.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I guess you got Mississippi State and Ole Miss, right? If that's
Oh
really
yes, yes, and I mean that's in and of itself that's enough, pretty
yeah,
much.
fair
And
enough.
yeah.
Fair enough. I forgot the Braves had a farm team down in Mississippi.
Yeah.
Yeah, are they in Tupelo? Is that
They are in Pearl, so right
okay?
outside of Jackson. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I would have sworn there was a team in Tupelo, but maybe not. I don't know.
I feel like there may have been a hockey team in Tupelo.
Probably that's it.
Yeah,
That so no, that's yeah. Got to get some sports teams in Mississippi, I guess.
for sure.
So, um, so as you prepare for this lease, you or not lease, release. Jesus, there's my fat Midwestern tongue getting in the way again. As you prepare for this release, what's kind of running through your mind right now?
Honestly, I'm just kind of excited to see where this song goes. I have, been, of course, pushing it probably like I've annoyed myself promoting this song. But I was like, it's been on TikTok, it's on Instagram, it's on Facebook. Like I've, sent it to people that I thought, hey, maybe they'll listen. I'm kind of hoping maybe it falls on the right ears. I've pitched it. Speaking of Mississippi State, I'm a huge state fan. Go Dogs. But I've pitched it to their assistant marketing person for their fan experience or
Mhm.
whatever, and was like, "Hey, do you think you might could maybe play this song somehow during the ball games?" And they're like, "We play Spotify in between innings and stuff." They're like, "I'm sure, send it to us and we'll listen." So, never know. Maybe we'll hear it at a state baseball game.
Nice.
So,
And I mean that would be the not upside, downside to losing the independent baseball team because they do the exact same team, or not the independent, the minor league baseball team, the
mhm,
Mississippi Braves, because they do the exact same thing, and that'd be, you know,
right.
really cool. But no, I think you're on the right track. You're doing really well promoting and whatnot, and as you kind of move forward with everything, as you kind of get more releases under your belt, you'll kind of find the flow that works for you, and just what works best. And I think you're hitting the nail on the head with TikTok and stuff like that, because that's obviously where all the young ones are right
Oh
now.
yeah.
I'm saying it like I'm some old crotchety man, and I'm like, I'm only 36, not 63. Like, we don't have to go here right now. So,
Right, right.
yeah,
But
but
40 is fast approaching.
yeah,
I'm
it's just,
35, so I feel
yeah,
you. I feel you.
I'm about to turn 37, and I'm just like, oh, geez, that 40's looking a little close in the window right there. So,
Yes.
no,
Um,
it's, but no, I've really enjoyed kind of watching you promote and do your thing, and you're doing it right, and I think it's gonna pay off in the end for you.
Thank you.
Um, are you playing shows right now, or what's kind of your show schedule looking like?
So during the week, I'm a teacher.
Mhm.
So the music thing is kind of like a side gig for me. And I play solely on the weekends, unless it's of course the summertime, and I'm a little bit more free to do and go places. So right now I just kind of playing around local. I'm in the future, looking at a couple of different like songwriter festivals, applying to play for those just because right where I'm at, there are songwriters, more than what you would probably think. But it's like the rounds like you would have in Nashville, they're few and far between. So being able to go to those songwriter festivals kind of gives that outlet to like, be around other like-minded creatives, and it's refreshing.
Mhm.
So maybe thinking about that. Who knows? I went to Nashville 2 years ago to play a couple of rounds up there, and I've kind of got the itch to go back. So
Nice,
um, maybe this summer, if it works out, maybe I'll make a trip to Nashville for a couple of days and do that. We'll see.
nice. Honestly, I think being a teacher probably is the best combo for being an independent musician, just because, yeah, like, yeah, during the fall, winter, and spring, you're kind of sacrificing being able to play. But if you want to go and play out the entire summer, guess what?
Right,
You kind of can. So,
right.
yeah, it's
Um,
good.
no, it's just yeah, but definitely more opportunity to try and like do the things that you want to do during the summertime for sure.
Mm, no, yeah, yeah, yeah. What's the independent scene like in Mississippi? Is there a big independent scene? Like, I know I've seen a couple of things for like songwriter festivals. I think they're up in
Yeah.
more northern Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken,
Well,
or
there's the Mississippi Songwriter Association, and they
Mhm.
put on the Mississippi Songwriter Festival in this down the coast. It's in Ocean Springs.
Okay.
Um, and it is a big like weekend long multi-venue um songwriter festival, and it is so fun, like because it's all just really close. It's all like mostly on their main strip. All the little restaurants and things like that host it, and they'll have workshops and things like that also. Um, so that's the main one. But then there is a couple of things that go on around North Mississippi. There's a venue in Tupelo called Blue Canoe. And
Mm,
Blue Canoe is a big promoter of original music.
nice.
Actually, like the criteria to even play Blue Canoe is, I believe you have to have so many hours worth of original music to play, which
Oh
is
wow.
like unheard of here around here. But anyway, they have songwriter night, like I think once a month or whatever, and I've played that a couple of times. So yeah, that's a neat little place. And of course,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, in Mississippi, we've got over in the Delta, it's saturated with music, the blues, and
Mhm.
you know, you've got the country roots going on. Down in Jackson, it's a big music scene. There is like a melting pot of different styles of music down in Jackson. You've got the rock music players, you've got country,
Nice.
you've got of course the rappers. I mean, it's all kinds of artists around the Jackson area. Of course, bigger place, lots more opportunity and venues to play down there. So
Nice. I think I'm gonna have to make a trip to Mississippi this summer because I always drive through Mississippi. I never drive to Mississippi.
right.
And that's
It's
mainly because
definitely an experience.
the last time I drove through Mississippi, I got a flat tire and it pissed me off. Be- Because
Oh goodness.
so
Well,
I was driving up to my grandma's for Easter last year, and we were getting like really bad rain here in like North Texas, and my GPS kept saying, "Hey, go further east before you start heading north." It was going to take me up to Mississippi, and then from like 20 or whatever it was going to take me up to Memphis. And I was like,
right.
okay, I don't usually go that way, but whatever you say, GPS. And since I'd never driven through Mississippi, I didn't know where like the gas stops were. Like going from
Hmm.
Waco, where I'm at, up to Chicago, I know where all my gas stops are. So it's like, okay, I can kind of time it all out. And I got down to like 20 miles left on my tank, and I'm like, I don't know where the hell I'm going to stop because I was like in the middle of nowhere. And
Right.
I see this random exit, and I saw like thought I saw a gas sign, but I didn't. And it takes me into this little town, and it's got this little dive gas station. I'm like, okay, I'll jump out, get some gas, and we'll be fine. Except the gas pumps didn't work. It wasn't a gas station. It was like a busted down gas station. And I
You're
was
right.
like,
Yep.
okay. And then as I'm pulling out, I picked up a nail in my tire, and I'm like, what the hell did I just do? Like now it's gonna, yeah. So it was a bad experience. So
Not a good experience. No,
no,
no, no. You need to try again though. It really is an experience. Like,
yeah.
I mean, from the food to like the music scene, like it Mississippi, there's like I know people. There's a quote that's like, "There's no place like Mississippi." There really is no place like Mississippi. There's no way to describe it.
I will say though, I love cornbread and I love catfish. So I
Well,
feel
then
like
you're in the right place.
Mississippi might be worth the trip. So Um, as you kind of look at the summer, what's kind of the plans? Are you looking at your next release, or are you going to kind of let this be what it is, and then you'll kind of figure it out from there?
Well, I've got two songs that have yet to go to the studio with and do pre-production for, but I have two songs uh, that are set to go to the studio and be released as my next two singles. Hopefully, I mean this year, obviously, they'll probably kind of be released together in like an EP type format. So I'm really excited about those. One of them is this song that won me the Mississippi Music Award because it's never been recorded, and that was back in 2019. So I'm like, well, what are we doing with that? Um, and we're looking at my love song that I've written. It's probably one of my top five favorites that I've written. So we're looking at that one. We're looking at the one that won me the award, and the one that is called oh shoot, my favorite memory is the name of the one that won me the award. And we're going to kind of look at maybe like a little crossover in genre with that one and maybe put a little rock edge to it. So I'm super excited about that.
Nice, nice. Is in that'll be a kind of a first for you, is putting a little rock music into your sound?
Yes, it
Okay.
will be because like I said, all my stuff is usually kind of like just country and cornbread sounding.
Fair. Very
So
fair.
I'm excited for a little different edge.
Very fair. Very fair. And will you record that in Mississippi, or would you go to like up to Memphis or Nashville, or?
There's a studio that I'm using down here in Mississippi. It's called Eternal Beyond
Mhm.
Studios. They are outside of Jackson. Really great guys. They know what they're doing. Yeah, I'm excited to work with them. They
Nice, nice.
actually, so the song that I'm releasing, they uh, enhanced the song. I had a guy from Nashville, Brian Austin Cuevas, who is Clint Black's guitar player. He did my song that I'm releasing, kind of like
Nice.
produced pretty much all of the melody line, or not the melody line, the lyrics and the melody I took care of, but he added all the instrumentation and stuff to it. Um, but the guys down in Eternal Beyond heard it and were like, we could really like fully produce this a little bit more. And so that's what we did. So there, those two, Eternal Beyond and Brian Austin, really amped up this song that I'm releasing. So I'm excited.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And to have a seasoned, you said guitar, right? That's what he's playing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he did all of the other instrumentation as well too. Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. But that's cool to have like somebody that's been there and back and worked with some of the greats, and just to kind of put their little spin on it and give their advice. Did you get a chance to talk to him while he was working on your music, or were you not there while he was recording?
It was one of those things where I sent him a video of me acoustically playing it, and he took
Hmm.
that and kind of went with it. And then I re-recorded my vocal or whatever through some recording equipment to make it sound better than just from the phone, um, and sent it to him that way. Everything was done remotely.
Okay.
Like we never met face to face. He produced everything at his house, and yeah.
Gotcha, gotcha. You brought up Clint Black, and that name's kind of funny to me, and not for anything that Clint ever did, but about a year ago, for the job that I work for a TV station. I make like local commercials and
Okay,
stuff. And
gotcha.
Clint Black's brother hired us to build a promo or build a commercial for him for his, like, I guess he does he sings as well, but he's like he does like city events and stuff like that, and like he
I
does more
gotcha.
like event singing and stuff like that. And he hired us, and the big selling pitch was that he was Clint Black's brother, and it's really, like you had to
I mean,
go
if
to.
you have the card to play it, right?
Right, yeah, fair enough. Um so outside of music, when you need to take a break from music or work, what are some of your hobbies? What do you like to do to kind of decompress?
Just spend time with friends and everything. And I like to shop. I mean, I'm a girl. I like to go shopping. I like to travel too. If my pocketbook doesn't allow me to travel, like I would love to, but I love to travel.
Fair, very fair. It's where's the where's one? Yep, that's the question I'm going to ask. I was like, get the question out of your mouth, dummy. But where's one place that you haven't been that you'd really like to be or would like to go?
Oh, that's so hard. I guess kind of like, okay, Austin. I've never been to Austin. I would love to come to Austin just for the music scene.
Fair. It Austin's cool. It's getting a little too expensive right now, but that's okay.
Yeah,
There's places outside of Austin that aren't crazy expensive right now, so it happens.
yeah.
So that's cool. And so then, um, at outside of that, you're once you get done with the school year, you'll start looking at gigs and stuff like that, or what's kind of the plan heading into the summer?
Um, well, I gig just about every weekend. I usually try to not gig at least maybe, I don't know, one weekend out of the month, just to not burn myself out.
Fair.
And During the summertime, again, and I give guitar lessons too on the side. Like
Mhm.
after school during the work week, I give guitar lessons. So between all that, like I enjoy playing live music, but at the same time, like sometimes like I don't want to, like I said, burn myself out. I enjoy
Mhm.
being able to do that. But hopefully this summer, being able to sit down and take like some time to um focus a little more on writing some more songs.
Gotcha.
I tried to songwrite like when I can, like as inspiration hits. But
Mhm.
even then, like by the time I'm home, I'm done. Like
Mhm.
mentally, I'm just done from work, and sometimes I don't have the creative energy like I would during the summertime when I'm able to just kind of be. Um, so yeah, that's kind of the plan. And maybe like I said, make a trip to Nashville or somewhere where I can do a couple of songwriter rounds and kind of be refreshed in that
Yeah.
aspect. And then yeah, songwriting.
Fair, fair, fair. Do you, since you brought up the songwriting aspect of things, and after you get done with teaching school, and then teaching at school, and then doing guitar lessons and all of that, um, do you find that you have to be more disciplined with your writing, or are you just kind of at that point where once you're done with work, if you're inspired, you're okay with you'll sit down and write, but if you're not inspired, you're okay with it?
That's a little bit, that's more mostly how I am. Like I'm
Okay.
definitely not one of these people I sit down every day and write. I don't do that. Like it's got to, like the inspiration has to hit me. My iPhone, like in my notes or whatever, I have so many random lines and like ideas or whatever, like as I think, or like voice memos
Mhm.
where I'm like, record whatever I was thinking at the moment that I may or may not use. And sometimes I have gone back and been like, let me just see what I wrote down. Like if I get stuck songwriting, let me see what I wrote. I'm like, oh, well, that might could work.
Mm.
I don't know if you listened to, I released a not released, but posted a original that I wrote not but it's in the past 2 weeks or so, um about my best friend that passed away. And it was one of those things that it just kind of like that had been a thought that had been sitting
Mm.
back in my
Yeah.
mind, and I've had the lines in my mind and in my notes. And then like I was like, I really want to like visit that. I was kind of
Mm.
feeling that emotion that day, and I was like, I really want to visit that.
Nice.
And so I did, and then it just kind of flowed. And then I've got ideas to finish that one up. But I'm anxious to finish that one up because I want to. I just again haven't had the time to really like pay attention to it like I really need to. But
No,
yeah,
yeah, nice. And have you thought about doing that more often, where even if it's not a complete song, but it's just like a basic idea, like if it's a chorus, verse, chorus, like just a basic idea for a song. Have you thought about doing that more often, where you'll just record it, whether it's on video or audio or whatever, and then put it out just on social media to a it kind of works as just getting content, because obviously the way the
right,
world is, it's a very content driven world. It counts as getting content out there, but then it also brings people in to like the more creative aspects of things, because it's like, oh, here's a song that's not recorded, but obviously she's working on it because it's not perfect. You like miss a note or what,
right.
like kind of whatever it is. But have you thought about doing that more often, or is that something that you already do pretty consistently?
I haven't done it consistently, but that was kind of one of my resolutions or whatever for the new year was to be able to post more content like that, like get kind of past the perfection of things
Yeah.
and just post it, like just post it. And that's really hard for me because I am a perfectionist to an extent, and like I was brought up to like you put your best foot forward, like
Mhm.
the way you carry yourself, like that's your your advertisement, like
Mhm.
so sometimes I'm like, this wasn't my best. So like I don't want to put it out there. But at the same time, like you said, it's content, and it just but it also like exposes, I mean, who you are as a creative. And then like you said, invites people in to kind of give you feedback or be
Yeah.
like, hey, what if you tried this? And I absolutely love, even though I am a perfectionist, I love constructive criticism. I
Yeah.
love for people to tell me like, hey, have you tried this? Or like, you should do this, or like give it a shot and see what
Mhm.
happens.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah.
Yeah. Because especially on TikTok, I've seen it work so many times where they basically build the song right there on Tik, or like the progression of the song is portrayed right
Right.
there on TikTok, where it's like, oh, you know, it's like I had an idea for guitar riff, and then they just do the guitar riff. What should I write about? And then somebody throws in some, like, obviously a lot of people throw in something, or some people will, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's kind of interesting. And then you start playing the riff, and then the next video is you playing the riff, trying to work out some lyric, you know, it's just so just kind of building out the song and bringing people in on the
Hmm.
creative process, especially if you're doing it like on TikTok, and I guess YouTube Shorts, or Instagram Reels, or you know, like any of that stuff would work nowadays as well. But
Yeah.
I think that'd be something really interesting to start exploring.
Yeah, it would be. I know I've done the whole like give me a random word kind of thing.
Mhm.
And I've never done it live, but like if I've been like feeling like creative, but I didn't really know like what kind of direction I wanted to go in,
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, give me like, a random word and go with it that way. Or even just like I found this like random picture generator on the internet and was like, let me just see what it pulls up and kind of look at the picture and kind of get an idea of like some things that I get from looking at the picture, to kind of spur some songwriting.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That's how we go back into the 90s and get some of the weird songs that we had growing up in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's just
Oh yeah.
you bring up like a weird picture generator, and it's like that in my head I imagine that's how, like, oh geez, I'm gonna sit here and try and think of a song from the 90s, and it's not gonna be from the 90s, but you know, insert any song from the 90s, it's like it was probably created from some random picture. So yeah. Um,
Right. Just some random words. Yeah.
right. So if people want to check out your music, if they want to check out your social media, check out a show, like as you kind of promote them and whatnot, where's the best place to find you online?
Well, I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Jodie Ross Music, and that's Jodie Jodie. I say E's for extra, but Jodie Ross Music, and that's my website handle as well, www.jodierossmusic.com, and that's where my shows are listed. They're there like now through the end of the year, and as they, I get new shows, they'll be added to my live section on my website. And then, of course, on my social media, I'm constantly posting when there's different shows, when things are releasing, that kind of stuff. And I'm also on TikTok too, Jodie Ross Music. So,
Awesome, awesome. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and chat with me. It's been an absolute blast, and I'll let you know when I get that Mississippi trip booked. So,
all
we'll,
right,
we'll
sounds good. Well, thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Really appreciate you. Really appreciate your time. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And if you are listening to the recorded on Spotify, the Jody Ross's Instagram and Spotify are in the description below. So feel free to check all of that out. And I tried to make it as easy for you as I could. But once again, thank you all so very much. And we will check you all later.